And okay, we can get started now. We just come out of close. So moved by Deputy Mayor Turton, second by Councillor Anderson, that the town council of Minto resume into open council. Anybody opposed? Okay, seeing none. Reporting at a close, moved by Councillor Anderson, second by Councillor Elliott. The Council of Town of Minto receives the report of the CEO regarding personal information about identifiable individuals, and further that the council will pass bylaws in open session approving the recommended appointments. Anybody opposed? That's carried. Previous minutes, moved by Councillor Gunson, second by Councillor McKenzie, the minutes of the Town of Minto, March 22nd, 2022 closed session meeting and March 22nd, 2022 regular council meeting be approved. Anybody opposed? That's carried. Additional items. I have one. Mark? Okay. Okay, moved by Councillor Anderson, second by Councillor Gunson, that the Town of Minto Council convenes the committee of the whole. Anybody opposed? None. Our first thing up is the public meeting, and I'll act as chair of the public meeting, and I'll call the meeting to order, and Clerk McGraw to ensure that any members of the public present is recorded on the attendance record. And I'll state the following: if a person or public body does not make oral submissions at a public meeting or make written submissions to the Town of Minto before the bylaws passed, the persons or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision of the Town of Minto in the Ontario Land Tribunal, and the person or public body may not be added as a party to the hearing of the appeal before the tribunal unless, in the opinion of the board, there are reasonable grounds to do so. I will call on Clerk McGraw to state the following. Okay,
yes, thank you, Mayor Bridge. The property subject to the proposed amendment is located on lots 1, 2, and 3, northeast side of Queen Street in the former town of Harriston, Town of Minto, County of Wellington. The subject property is approximately 0.57 acres or 0.23 hectares in size. The purpose and effect of the proposed amendment is to rezone the subject property from residential R1B to residential R2 to facilitate the construction of 3 semi-detached residential dwellings, which is 6 units. Additional relief may be considered at this meeting. The notices were mailed to the property owners within 400 feet or 120 meters of the subject property, as well as the applicable agencies on March 8th, 2022, and posted on the subject property. Reports and comments have been received from our planning technician of the Town of Minto, as well as the planner from Wellington County. Please note that no members of the public registered to participate in this public meeting.
thanks, Annalene, and I'll turn it over to, I see Matthew's with us. Go ahead, Matthew.
Yes, thank you. And through you, Chair, good afternoon to council and members of the public. So again, thank you. And through you, before you is a zoning bylaw amendment seeking to rezone the subject lands from residential R1B to residential R2. The applicant is seeking the aforementioned amendment to facilitate the construction of 3 semi-detached dwellings on the subject lands. The application is before council simply because the R1B zoning does not permit semi-detached dwellings. All in all, the application generally conforms to the zoning bylaw, official plan, and provincial policy, and planning staff have no concerns with the application, and I welcome any questions.
Okay, I'll just hold your questions, Matthew, from the group until I'll go through all the, get Ashley to do hers, and then we'll finish questions at the end. Go ahead, Ashley.
So good afternoon. So yeah, I just wanted to note they're not asking for any site-specific zoning relief. Wellington Source Water Protection and Maitland Valley also have no concerns with the proposed development. And from the town's perspective, the existing 3 lots will require additional servicing to accommodate semi-detached dwellings, as these lots were originally intended for single detached dwellings. Each unit will be required to have their own set of services connected to the mains on their frontage, and existing sanitary services will need to be inspected due to their age to see if they're acceptable to use. The cost of servicing is solely the responsibility of the developer, and this information has been previously relayed to them. As a standard for an infill lot, prior to building permit issuance, a grading and drainage plan will be required to the satisfaction of the town, and the applicant's aware of this. His agent is currently in the process of completing that. So we are recommending the approval as well.
Okay, thanks, Ashley. And I don't see Bob. Is Bob here, Annalene? Oh, there he is. There he is.
Yes,
Go ahead, Bob.
he is on the phone.
Did you want to say anything, Bob, or are you good?
We'll just give him a moment to unmute himself.
Still have you on mute, Bob.
It may take him a moment, but he
Okay.
may not have anything further to add.
Yeah. Okay, well, maybe I'll go to questions, and then if we get Bob on, if we need any questions from Bob. Okay, questions from the council. Councillor McKenzie, go ahead.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Just trying to get the geography right here. What lot is it on? Queen Street.
Ashley, do you want to grab that, or Matthew?
So they were originally part of 195 Queen Street South. So these are the 3 lots severed off just between 195 and 217.
That's up at the west end there, right?
It's kind of behind the Circle K, if you think of it that way.
Yeah, Circle K, you know.
Okay, just trying to picture between what, all right.
There's yeah, that's what I figured. There's a big gap down in there, right? Okay.
Yeah, it's down on the end of Queen.
Yeah.
On the
Thanks.
south side.
Oh, I know. Okay, got it. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice infill. It's going to be a good infill development for sure. Yeah. Anybody else got anything? Deputy Mayor Turton, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Bridge. It's kind of surprising that, I mean, this is a pretty big development, 3 duplexes, no questions from the neighbors or anything like that. And I mean, I think if just to put my finger on it, Bob's been, he's built a number of duplexes around town. He could be on his 3rd or 4th. And he does really nice looking houses. They're done well. He does them, you know, the grass, the driveways, the whole 9 yards. And so that could be one of the reasons why nobody has any objection, because they've seen what Bob's done and happy with it. So
Yeah, good.
It's a big step, changing the zoning from 1 to 2.
Yeah. But again, it goes back, and thanks for that, Deputy Mayor. And I'm really happy that I think the public are realizing that to get housing that we need to at least try to be attainable for some of our youth and some of our people, this is the type of housing we need. And I think it's, as you say, where it is located, it's a great infill situation, and to have those extra units come on board, I think it's a real boom. So, has anybody else got anything? Bob hasn't come on, so I don't think he has anything. I don't think he wants to say anything negative. So I think we're good that way, and nobody else spoke up. So I will then declare the following. If you wish to be notified of the decision of the Council of Town of Minto in respect to the proposed zoning bylaw amendment application, you must make a written request to the clerk of the Town of Minto at 5941 Highway 89 Harrison, NOG 170, or email at annaline@town.minto.on.ca. I will now declare this public meeting closed. Okay, and we have a next one up, and I'll act as chair of this public meeting. I'll call the meeting to order, and Clerk McRobb to ensure that any members of the public present is recorded on the attendance record. I'll state the following. If a person or public body does not make oral submissions at a public meeting or make written submissions to the Town of Minto before the bylaws passed, the person or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision of the Town of Minto to the Ontario Land Tribunal, and a person or public body may not be added as a party to the hearing of the appeal before the tribunal unless, in the opinion of the board, there are reasonable grounds to do so. I will call on Clerk McRobb to state the following. Go ahead, Annalee.
Thank you, Mayor Bridge. The property subject to the proposed amendment is located on Concession D, Part Lot 89, with a municipal address of 6133 Wellington Road 109 in the Town of Minto. The property subject to the zone amendment is approximately 0.71 hectare or 1.75 acres in size. The purpose and effect of the proposed amendment is to rezone the subject property from agricultural commercial site specific AC 105 and agricultural site specific A1 zone to agricultural commercial AC zone. This rezoning is a condition of severance application B86/21 and has been granted provisional consent by the Wellington County Land Division Committee. The consent will sever 0.4 hectare or 1 acre vacant agricultural parcel and merge it with the abutting agricultural commercial lots 6133 Wellington Road 109, creating a lot of approximately 0.71 hectare or 1.75 acres in size with an existing livestock facility. Additional relief may be considered at this meeting. The notices were mailed to the property owners within 400 feet or 120 meters of the subject property, as well as the applicable agencies on March 10th, 2022, and posted on the subject property. Reports and comments have been received from our planning technician for the town of Minto, as well as the senior planner for Wellington County. Please note that no members of the public are registered to participate in this public meeting, and as well, the owner will not be in attendance.
Okay,
I have just advised that.
thank you, Annalene. And I'll get Jessica's doing this one. Go ahead, Jessica. Let me
Yes.
see it.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, members of the public and staff. So again, this application is to satisfy a condition on a consent application B86/21. So as mentioned, it was for a lot line adjustment to merge an approximate 1 acre parcel to the existing AC-105 zoned property. This application is to bring the entire merged parcel into conformity with the same zoning on the subject lands, as well as just clear up the site-specific use on the property. So currently the site-specific use permits for the breeding, raising, and sale of small rodents and a pet store. So that use is no longer operating on the subject lands. So through this application, we'll be removing that site-specific on the subject lands and having it go the entire merged parcel to a straight ag commercial zone. And the applicants are proposing to construct a maintenance shop with an office and a wash bay, which is currently permitted within the AC zone on the subject land. So planning staff have no concerns with the application, and we're here if there's any questions about that.
Thanks, Jessica. And we'll get Ashley's comments first, and then we'll open up for questions. Thank you. Go ahead, Ashley.
Yeah, so I think Jessica's covered it very well. So the owners operate a local poultry business where they go to the local farms and collect and transport poultry. And with that new modular loading requirement, this is the reason that they need more space, and they will have approximately 25 to 30 trucks to maintain on this property. We are currently waiting on the submission of a site plan to determine if a site plan agreement is required, but this will not impact the proposed zoning, and our previous comments and conditions for the severance application still apply.
Thank you. Okay. I'll open it up for questions. I know the owner's not going to be here, so questions from the group. This brings back a lot of fond memories of being, I remember being named the Pied Piper for the rats way back when they were there. So I guess I don't have that anymore. But and I think from what I gather, and this is something that the farm community really needs, because with everything that's going on in the bird industry, having clean trucks going out of farms is so important. I think Judy, you'd attest to that. You know the background there. So this is a good use for this property, I think, and I really liked. It's great that we have this opportunity to help this firm out and get this going. So, anybody else any comments? Deputy Mayor Turton.
Yeah, I agree, Mayor Bridge. It's a great use for the property, and I remember back when some of our chicken catchers were coming to town, and the Ottens were buying property, and there was serious concerns about 5 to 7 people living in houses and things like that, and it's pretty well vanished. I mean, you see these young men out and young women out on the street a lot on their bicycles, whatever they're doing. Sitting out waiting on the truck to come and pick them up to go catch chickens. It's really needed. I remember when I was a kid, I caught chickens and turkeys and stuff, and it was just a part-time job. Where today, this is big business, and it's a full-time job for a lot of these young men and women. So yeah, let's get going on it.
I was there once myself, and it's not an easy job. I can tell you that. I wouldn't want to be doing it. Anyways, okay, any other questions? If not, I will state, if you wish to be notified of the decision of the Council of Town of Minto in respect to the proposed zoning bylaw amendment application, you must make a written request to the clerk of the Town of Minto at 5941 Highway 89, Harrison, LG 1ZO, or email at annaline@town.minto.on.ca. So no more further comments. I'll adjourn this public meeting, and thanks everybody for coming. Thanks, Jessica. Thanks, Ashley. You're still here, I think, for other things, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, no delegations, and we have correspondence, quite a bit of correspondence. Does anybody want to pull anything out of correspondence? Councillor McKenzie, go ahead. Sorry, there you are.
Thank you. Item F, there's a request there for an endorsement to their motion for a moratorium on new gravel, new aggregate. And I just wanted to know if this council, or are we going to respond to that, or does it have to come through a motion?
I'll turn that, I think it has to come through a motion, but I'll turn that to Annalee. Go ahead.
Through you, Mayor Bridge. Yes, if council wish to make a motion to support it, and then we would then pass it forward on to the community that sent it.
Can I do that now, or does that then be another meeting?
No, you can make a motion now.
Well, I'll move that, please.
Okay.
We would require a seconder through you,
Seconded
Mayor
by
Bridge.
Deputy Mayor Turton. Seconded. Okay, now we have to have discussion on it, Annalee, right? So
Yes, that's correct.
what, do you want to speak to it, Mark, first, or?
Well, it's really laid out well, and the rationale behind it is in front of you, and it makes sense not to have any new aggregate pits opened until the government gets a chance to review the impacts it's going to have. So it's probably temporary anyway, but I think it's a great resolution to slow down a bit until the government renews it again. Reviews it, sorry.
Okay. Anybody else want to speak to us? Go ahead, Judy.
I think the challenge is we have a lot of construction needed, and I think there's a lot of moving parts in this, and I'm not sure. I mean, I guess in some places maybe it's a good idea, but I'm not sure a blanket moratorium over all of Ontario is necessary, because there are places that maybe don't have the gravel pits that they need, but the gravel is there in the ground. And so they would be hauling gravel a lot further than they maybe would need to at this point. I know there's a fair bit of information here, but I feel like it's kind of one-sided a bit. So I guess that would be my concern. I would feel like I'm not just quite ready to say yes or no at this point.
Yeah. Anybody else? Councillor Anderson, go ahead.
Myself.
There you go. There you go.
On reading, am I unmuted now?
Yep.
On reading this, though, they're aware of the need for construction. And the way I read it is that they're going to make sure that it's there, but they're giving gravel companies an opportunity to update their policies, or expecting them to update their policies, so they're aware of the environment and mindful of their impact on it, while still supplying enough gravel. So rather than opening new ones, and I don't know, maybe there'd be cost increases, maybe it's harder to get to the deeper gravel, but rather than spreading shallow gravel pits all over, I don't object to bringing it forward at all, because I think it makes them mindful of the impact, but still they're aware that we need gravel, and there is, as you say, construction happening at unprecedented rates everywhere. I think it's a good article. I think, or a good policy. I think it was well written. That's all, just a comment.
Okay. And my comment on this, and Mark, and I've read some of it, and I was going to try to get a hold of the county. The county's worked very hard, as you know. I know from your time even, and we've been actually fairly successful. And one of the comments they made about the cost and the taxation of the gravel pits, we won a couple awards in Wellington County. I'd like to, maybe if I could, park this a bit and maybe talk to the county and see if they want to do it on a county-wide basis first. And it's not that we can't bring it back at a local level, but I would like to get a little bit more information from the county, because I know they've had a task force on gravel pits on all the different reasonings, and we have a lot in the south. I see Bushman's is mentioned in here, and the county's mentioned in here. Would that be all right if we just, rather than just say we endorse it, I'd like to get a little bit more information from the county, and maybe if we want to bring it back at a different time. Does that work out, Annalee?
Through you, Mayor Bridge, there already has been a motion made. that the council of the town of Minto support the town of Halton's resolution regarding, so they would have to be voted on first before another motion can be brought forward.
All right. Yeah, okay. I guess we want to vote on that then. Deputy Mayor Turton.
So what you're saying, Mayor Bridge, is, and I know that the county has had all kinds of discussions about this. It is more about Puss Lynch and some of the other municipalities down in the south. I know every time we go to a convention, whether it's AMO or Good Roads, the gravel people are there front and center. In fact, there's all kinds of discussion about this. And I mean, I don't know. There's a lot that we don't know about this. So I mean, I'm in favor of allowing us to go back to the county and seeing what they're thinking. We can talk to them next week. So
maybe we go on the first motion first, and
Okay.
then, okay. Judy, do you have a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, I sure do. So if we have a motion on the floor, and if it is defeated, because we want to look for more information, which is the only way we can do that without approving it, then we have to bring it back with whatever the percentage is, and blah, blah, blah. Like, the water's going to get pretty muddy. I think. I don't know.
So-
I just think we're going to have to
Yeah, but-
navigate our way through that.
Is there a
Like,
possibility
what
of
does
amendment, a friendly amendment?
So through you, Mayor Bridge, we can have a vote then instead. Before we vote on this, someone can make a motion to amend the motion.
Yeah.
And we can vote on that. Yes.
Okay. So
I'll do
somebody, Deputy Mayor Turton? You want to make a motion to amend?
yes,
based
I'll
on-
make a motion to amend that we defer it, if that's the word, to till we have further discussion with the county.
Through you, did you want to amend the motion to say, instead of taking it forward to Halton Hills, that you wish to bring the information forward to the County of Wellington?
Yeah, I think that's what we've discussed.
And then, yeah,
I would second that.
okay. Now it's a friendly amendment. Is Mark all right with that? Because Dave was the other, or is that? We
I'm okay
vote
with
on
it.
that first.
Well,
I mean, I don't want to put it away, Mark. I want to get a little more information, because Halton has been working with the county on a lot of stuff with the gravel stuff. I don't think it's a problem, but
you know, it's another opinion or two higher up than ours, but basically, I would support it on behalf of the town of Minto, because any new operations opening here need to conform a little more to environmental issues and land use. And we've run out into that matter last term. And this council also gets the decision whether to move forward with expansions. Doesn't have to go anywhere else.
No.
So I don't know. We'll see how the vote goes.
okay. So what do we got? What's the, I'm a little confused here, Annalene.
I'm sorry,
Can you hear me?
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was missing what Mark was saying.
Oh,
I apologize.
Derek, can you help us with this?
Yeah, so through you, Mr. Mayor, you now take a vote on the amendment first.
Okay. All right. That's what we do. Okay. Vote on the amendment first. That's what I thought, but I just want to make sure. Okay. Anybody opposed to the amendment? I guess I will say that way. One. Okay. So that's passed then. So we're gonna
Now you vote on the motion.
vote on
as
Mark's.
amended.
Okay. On the other one. Okay. Anybody opposed to the original one?
So-
Mark's original one, right?
No,
Okay.
sorry,
No. So-
Mr. Mayor, what you're voting on now is the motion as amended. So.
I'm sorry. It's the
original
motion.
And then you amended it to send it to the county for comment or get feedback from the county.
Sure. Okay. That's what I needed. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Anybody opposed to the motion as amended? Be Mark. Okay. Everybody's
And can
good.
we have a mover and a seconder for the motion as amended, please?
Well, I thought we did. I thought Deputy Mayor Turton moved it, and
That was to amend the motion, and now this
Okay.
is to,
I need can I have that then, please? Judy and then Jean. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so it's not dead, it's just for to take it back. We have good roads next week, so we'll be able to talk about this and see where everybody is on this. I haven't heard anything at the county, but it could be there at the county. I'm not sure.
And this is why the CEO should not be clerk.
That's right. Messed me up. All right, no, that's right.
Thanks for helping out.
Yeah, is there anything else need to be pulled?
Just quickly on that last motion with the defer, we are going to bring it back for a discussion after
Yeah,
we hear from county. So
That's the idea.
have we set a date to bring it back?
Well, let me see if we'll try to talk to the county this month, right? And
Okay, it's just,
figure
I'd like to have some.
well, I
sort of-
think it's somewhat time sensitive, Councillor Elliott, because if they probably want to get in front of whatever the election coming forward, I would assume that's probably why they want to have some.
Sure. Usually when you make a defer, you defer to a certain time for the.
We'll try to get it back hopefully by next council if we can, if it fits the agenda. If not, we'll
Sure.
as soon as possible. Okay.
All right.
Deputy Mayor Turton. You're muted.
I apologize for that.
Sorry.
The long-term bid announcement. I think this is all really good, but I'm just wondering why the Crescent Care in Hairston was not included.
I have no idea.
It's interesting. Are we landlocked down there? I don't believe we are, but
Imagine that's a corporate decision.
yeah. So yeah, that's okay.
And we do have Palmerston getting 99 new beds. So,
Yeah, we do.
Councillor Anderson, do you know something, or do you want to change?
No, I have two comments on articles in here, and one is in relation to Deputy Mayor Turton's. I would dearly like to know what an improved long-term care bed is. What is the standard for that? Is it providing them more hours of care? Is it a better physical bed? Is it, I find that a very interesting wording, because they promise these new ones and then they're going to have X number of improved long-term care beds. So I'm not sure where we would go to find that answer. I've been looking, but unsuccessfully so far. But any more long-term care beds, but we can't staff. The issue is not the beds right at the current time. It's staffing those beds, and making more beds isn't going to give us any more staff. The health system is frankly in crisis everywhere you talk. There's just not enough people. As I've been talking all the way through this COVID, but the numbers that we don't count anymore, we look at wastewater, but the numbers in long-term care, people who have escaped it for the whole course of it, they've got the triple vax, they're wearing their masks, and they're falling like flies in the healthcare organizations. Everybody we talk to right now is in crisis mode. So that's one thing, but that'll be an interesting thing to follow up on, is what is an improved and I'll contact Randy Pettipies and find out if he can give me information. The second article that I found fascinating was the County of Wellington, a long-term plan. My goodness, when you look at those numbers, and we're all focusing on sewers and water and how we're going to support that, how are we going to provide healthcare for these people? Thousands and thousands more people in Wellington County, and I don't have the numbers on the top of my head right now, how many people in Wellington County currently don't have a primary care practitioner, be it physician or NP.
That's a point of order.
The numbers are astounding.
Okay, like, Jean, you want to pull it, but we can't argue it, like just a letter.
No, I'm just, it's fascinating reading. It was a great
Well, I
report.
know,
But it's
but-
very eye-opening. I'm not arguing it. I'm just
No,
thinking,
no.
oh my, do we have our work cut out for us?
But a lot of it is what the letter states. We can't, like, it's just course.
Oh, I know.
Okay,
Yeah, it's just interesting.
and I
Fascinating.
understand where your frustrations are, because I know that's there, but Councilor McKenzie.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, just to comment on Dave's question. It isn't long ago, Dave, that Crescent Care took beds out of there, and we had quite a debate and argument over that. They're not interested in expanding in Hairston for some reason, but I hope.
And again, be careful when we pull these things, because we can't discuss them necessarily. We can talk about them, but at the end of the day, it's not under our control. Now,
Thank you.
having said about at least we are trying to build a medical center to hopefully attract another doctor or two. So that's the good news. What we can do, we try to do, Gene, you know?
Yeah, no, it's just interesting to see the demands that are going to be placed on.
Well, I'll tell
Community.
you, there's an election coming. Everybody
Yep.
should speak up.
Several.
All right. And okay, anybody else for the correspondence? We're good? Deputy Mayor Turton. You're muted again. We're gonna get you trained yet.
Sorry, I'll make a motion that we receive that.
Okay, second there. I got that here, I think. Moved by Deputy Mayor Turton, second by Councillor Elliott. Right here. The council receives the correspondence for information. Again, I should have maybe said that first. That it's information only. We can't debate it. All right. Anybody opposed? Carried. Okay, I'll turn it over to Councillor Elliott. I'll take a break. You got to unmute there.
Trying to, I lost my little mouse over here. It ran away. Okay, I'll read the motion. Moved by Councillor McKenzie and second by Councillor Anderson. The council received the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee minutes of February 28th, 2022 and approve any recommendation contained therein. And I'll let Matt speak to it.
Thank you, Councillor Elliott. So these are technically the last set of PRAC minutes you'll see, as they are from February 28th. And you approved our name change at council on March the 1st. Some of the highlights include the Norgan Theatre has reopened on a consistent basis since March break. And we've had some strong attendance figures for showings like Sing 2, Spider-Man, Batman. And we're hoping that trend will continue with this weekend's movie showing The Lost City. We ran a March break day camp at the Palmerston Arena and it went well and was well attended. We have some other programs starting this month, including a Let It Grow kids horticultural program in Clifford on Wednesdays and Thursdays for the next 6 weeks. And there are 40 kids registered in all. Our kids ball hockey league starts up again on Thursday, starting April 14th at the Harriston Arena. And we've got a dozen teams signed up so far. We'll continue to offer pickleball at the Clifford Hall until Easter. And then we plan to move it to the Harriston Arena for the summer. The last day of the ice season will be Sunday, April 10th in Harriston. The ice came out of Palmerston last week, and construction of the new dressing rooms started with excavation work yesterday in Palmerston. So that's nice to see that the project started on time. Yesterday also marked the launch of our summer program registration on the Active Network, and registration for day camp and private lessons were strong. And we anticipate ongoing demand for both of those programs this summer. And it's certainly shaping up to be a busy spring and summer for the department, and that's what we like to see.
So the arena project, Matt, will hope to be closed or built by the first part of August. Was that the date?
Towards the end of August. We'd like to be ready to go for the start of the ice season in September.
Yeah, so it should be all ready to go.
Yep.
Okay. Any questions of Matt? Okay, seeing none. Anyone opposed to the motion? That's carried. Thank you, Matt.
Or did you announce whoever is the movers were on that?
Yes, I did right off the bat. Councillor McKenzie and Councillor Anderson. That was the first thing I did, is read the motion. See?
Sorry, I was just having some issues with my audio. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks. I'll return it back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thanks, Councillor Elliott. And no, you have one more, don't you? Are you doing the, are you doing the staff report on the IT?
Sure I can. Okay, I'll read the motion again. Annalena, you ready? Moved by Councillor McKenzie, seconded by Councillor Anderson. The Council of the Town of Minto receives report CS 2022-02 regarding information technology support services, and that the Council of the Town of Minto consider passing a bylaw in open session authorizing the mayor and the clerk to sign the technical support services agreement with the Township of Center Wellington. And Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, Thanks, Councillor Elliott. So just a couple of comments on the report. As you'll see from it, we're in need of IT support as Ken and Alicia Frey have sold their company. We had a good year or a good 10-year run with Freycom, and this change presents us with an opportunity to look at alternative ways for our IT to be managed. Staff consisting of CAO Thompson, Treasurer Duff, Deputy Treasurer Potter, and myself have met regularly to discuss options and next steps. And from these meetings, as well as the IT review that we participated in back in 2020, entering into an agreement with the Township of Center Wellington made the most sense. They're close by and have an IT department of 4 staff. They're quite familiar with municipal government operations, its infrastructure and software programs. This managed services agreement before you is for a 2-year term at a fixed rate for all in-scope work. Out-of-scope work, which would mostly be capital projects in nature, would be billed at an hourly rate. And then there are also some annual subscriptions such as Office 365 and endpoint security that they would look after and then invoice us for at cost. With that said, I certainly want to thank and wish Ken and Alicia all the best in their future endeavors. And moving ahead, we look forward to working with the IT team at the Township of Center Wellington.
That's it, Matt?
Yeah.
Okay, any questions or comments? Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, it's just that this is a follow-up kind of, when we started this project a little while ago and looking, we knew that we were kind of growing with Fry's, and then now they've sold. So I think this goes back to when Minister Clark came back out to us and put some money out there and said, try to find things we could do together, municipalities. This is one of the projects we thought had some legs, and we've been working on this for a while. So give Derek and everybody and Matt and Mark and Gord a lot of credit for getting this done and being ready to go now that we're looking for a provider. So I'm really looking forward to this relationship.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Deputy Mayor Turton.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Elliott. We all know that IT, OT is likely one of the most important things in the office, and to have somebody that we can rely on day in and day out to support us. Yeah, I congratulate you guys as well and gals for getting this done.
Any other comments? Questions? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Those against? Okay, that is carried, and I'll return it to you now, Mayor Bridge, unless you want.
All right, Ron. I didn't want to cut your grass again like that happened last time. They slipped that one by us.
Too anxious to leave.
Anyways, all good. Okay, I'll take over the chair and ask for Terry. The next report up is moved by Councillor Dirksen, second by Councillor Gunston. The Council of Town of Minto receives the report ECDV 2022-06 regarding the development covenant extension to McClellan Industries Limited and approves a 3-month extension. So I want to get Terry to give us a little update on that. Go ahead, Terry.
Thank you. So basically where McClellan's are at this point, they've applied for their building permit, but only have the drawings to the point of the shell. So they're working on the interior layouts. So that would be the office space, the life and safety components, that sort of thing. So they're having difficulties getting a designer to do those. So that's why they're looking for a brief extension to their building permit requirements.
Any questions? I think it's a reasonable request. They're moving forward, Terry. That's not a problem.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody opposed? That is carried. Okay. Next up, we have, exciting, seeing they're actually down there digging. We moved by Councillor Anderson, second by Councillor Elliott. The Council of the Town of Minto receives the planning technician's report and approves the site plan prepared by Nelson Dolly P Engineering for Dom Construction Limited as recommended by the Town of Minto staff and the Town of Minto engineer, and further the council considers passing a bylaw in regular session authorizing the mayor and clerk to sign the documents related to the site plan application. And I will turn it over. Who's going to do this? Ashley, I think, right? Go ahead, Ashley.
Yep, so the site plan agreements for the Palmerston Arena expansion to provide the additional and renovated dressing rooms to the arena, the new side entrance, and the universal washroom. So council may recall that Dom Construction was awarded the work, and they're set to begin with this week with the excavation work, as Matt mentioned, starting yesterday. So town staff are recommending approval so the construction can begin and stay on schedule. And the site plan outlines the expansion size of 5,590 square feet, the location of the existing and new parking spaces, including barrier-free, proposed and existing sidewalks and curbs, planting strips, and drainage, site elevation, sewers, all of that stuff. So we are recommending that council approve the agreement.
Great, and I see Steve's here if you have any questions on it, so questions? If not, anybody opposed? That is carried. Keep up the good work, everybody. Let's keep moving on that. And Ashley, the next one's up is Mex Rail Lands. Moved by Councillor Elliott, second by Councillor McKenzie. The Council of the Town of Minto receives the planning technician's report and approves the site plan prepared by Moorfield Excavating as recommended by town staff and its engineer. And further, that the owner executes with the Town of Minto site plan agreement requiring completion of the works 1 year from the issuance of the occupancy permit of the final unit. And further, that the owner executes with the Town of Minto servicing finance agreement pertaining to the cost sharing of the works. And further, the council considers passing a bylaw in regular session authorizing the mayor and clerk to sign the site plan agreement. And Ashley, go ahead on that one.
So this site plan agreement is for the Mex Developments property on the former railway land in Harrison. So it has frontage on Tualora Street North, Queen Street North, and King Street North, and it's currently vacant with surrounding residential and industrial use. The proposal is for the construction of 18 one-story residential townhouse units to be serving as rentals for the senior community. Each unit is approximately 1,200 square feet with an approximate 200 square foot attached garage. The site plan application process ensures conditions such as the servicing, the grading, the drainage, buffering, parking, all of that is addressed to the town's municipal servicing standards. So at this point, town staff is generally satisfied with the site plan, the layout, and the functionality of the site. We're satisfied that the deficiencies have been addressed during the review process and the final drawing set can now be approved. So the site plan itself outlines where the townhouse units will be. The entrances to the development off of both Queen Street North and King Street North. There's a proposed 8-foot tall fence on the portion of the property that abuts the industrial works yards, and a proposed 6-foot tall fence on the portion of the property that abuts the King Street North and Queen Street North neighboring parcels. The location of the on-site parking for each unit is shown, as well as visitor parking, snow storage, servicing easements, and drainage, site elevation, sewers, water main location, and utility locations. What's a little different with this site plan agreement is that King Street is required to be reconstructed as part of the development. This is largely to do with the water main that needs to be replaced, and this is at the developer's cost. The replacement of the water main, so it'll stretch from King Street up to William. And the town did explore the option of replacing King Street through cost sharing with the developer at this time, essentially to get both things done at once instead of having to rip up the road 10 years down the road. As this item was not budgeted for, the town has worked with the developer and has agreed to pay a lump sum of $275,000 of the total cost to be paid over a 3-year term. And that is what the service finance agreement that you were provided with outlines. The owner and developer is required to pay for all external costs, including the engineering and legal fees, which is standard for a site plan agreement, as well as provide 100% of securities and the offsite works cost to the town. So we are recommending the approval, and I'm here if you have any questions as well.
Good, thanks, Ashley. Questions? Councillor Anderson, go ahead.
A minute while I unmute myself. I'm just trying to figure, I'm not very good at getting my bearings on these things. The subject property, there's outlined in red in the first photo we see, has a long extension that doesn't look big enough for houses. And from the sketch, it doesn't look like there's any houses going up in there. What is that being used for? It's not included in the sketch part.
So this part is just, I don't know if you recall when the zoning came forward, there was an R2 proposed section and R3. So the R3 is the front portion that's wider, and that's where the townhomes are going. And that back portion has a hold on it until the remainder is developed. They'd have to come back to council to get that hold removed. And I believe the idea was potentially 2 semi-detached dwellings, but the townhouses are the priority. So council would be advised of the hold removal for their comment at that time as well.
So that narrow section, because is that section big enough to put a house on? It's hard to tell the dimensions. There's no dimensions in this red.
I believe so. When the developer looked at it, they were comfortably able to fit 2 semi-detached dwellings
Okay,
towards the back portion of the property there.
all right. I just wondered, there's this little projection out there and I didn't see it on the sketch and I thought, where'd it go? All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Deputy Mayor Turton, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Bridge. Ashley, I remember back on years ago when we had the public meeting, there was some issues from some of the abutting landowners.
Yes.
That's all been solved, all the answers to the questions and stuff.
Yes, yep. And then all of those neighbors that did reach out to us, we did let them know the site plan was going and provided them with the agreement ahead of time. So I haven't heard anything back otherwise, but the site plan approval process is technically not public. We just did that to be transparent with them and keep everyone on the same page and satisfied.
I think that just goes out to Max, the property or the property owners and the construction company. I mean, they came to that meeting wanting to put this up and wanting to solve all the problems before they started. So, I mean, hats off to the Robus family.
I think it goes a long way when you communicate with people up front and let
Absolutely.
them know what's going on.
Yep. Yeah. And again, this is a project well needed in the town. I mean, it's going to be a rental project, which is one of the things we definitely need. We finally get some more rent, and we keep some of our seniors maybe in the community, and they can maybe sell some of their bigger homes for families. And I saw a stat the other day. It was quite interesting that the number of people that live in housing, it was part of the housing strategy. And Ashley, I don't know if you've seen that, but I was shocked that seniors, the majority of it living in one person in a big house, because there's no place to go, and they want to go places, but they want to stay in their neighborhood or they want to stay in their town. So this is just a big bonus to get this up and running, because these units will give some of those people that opportunity. And we've seen people move out of our towns because they couldn't have the opportunity. So I'm really pleased with what's happening here. Anybody else? Any other comments, questions? I think I read that already, Annaline, so I'll just call the question. Anybody opposed? That is carried. Okay. And this is another good news story, and I'll have Terry give us this one. Year-end stats. And
Actually,
current stats.
Dave is going to take care of this one.
Oh
for
yeah,
us.
Dave's doing that. Sorry, I didn't look at my notes here. Okay. Go ahead, Dave. Dave and Wesley are doing this. That's why they're both on here. Good work. Nice to see you guys.
Okay, can everyone hear me?
Mhm.
Hey, good afternoon, Mayor Bridge and members of council. It's my pleasure to present the 2021 Building Department year in review and their update for 2022 so far. I'd like to thank our staff members, Wes and Ashley, for putting together this presentation for you. Before we start, I'd just like to say that I've been involved in the construction industry locally for over 30 years now, and I don't think the town of Minto has ever seen this level of development in those 3 decades that we're seeing now. And it's a credit to the town of Minto that we were prepared to accept this boom by having adequate services and land and staff to capitalize on it when it arrived. And not only did we have the infrastructure, but we also had the amenities that make Minto the place where your family belongs. While we in the building and planning department are very proud of our work in the recent building boom, all the departments should be proud of the past of the part there in making this happen. Economic development, public works, community services, finance, and council all played a part in making this happen in an efficient and orderly manner. And I'd like to congratulate everyone. So our year in review, 2021. If we could, there's the next slide. As you can see, we had 218 permits issued last year with a construction value of almost $39 million. Over 50% of that was in residential construction, in new construction and renovation work. We have the next slide. There we go. This is the breakdown of permits issued. As you can see, there were 61 dwelling units in total created between single family, multiple family, and accessory apartments. The total value there was about $25 million worth of construction and residential. So that was a big part of last year's activity. 8 commercial permits, 7 industrial permits, 33 agricultural permits, and 8 miscellaneous, which includes solars and tents. And some of the highlights from last year were the phase 2 of Right Haven Homes Creek Bank Meadows development in Palmerston they're now complete, and all the units are sold. That consisted of 7 single detached homes, 10 semi-detached homes, and 9 townhome units. And on Henry Street, Victoria Street area in Palmerston with St. Clair Construction, they built 4 semi-detached homes last year, 7 townhome units, and they're just beginning construction of their first of 19 townhomes, which they hope to have all finished this year. I was just there this morning for the excavation for the first 3-plex. And last year there were 7 industrial and 8 commercial permits issued, as I mentioned earlier. These range from industrial warehouses to manufacturing facilities and retail stores. And in the agricultural sector, it was a little quieter last year than we normally see, but I think we're going to see a rebound in it in 2022. Year to date, 2022. We're off to a really fast start in 2022. We've already issued 57 permits in the first 3 months with a construction value of almost $28 million, which is about 2/3 of what we did all last year. And they consist of, we go to the next slide. Before we get there, on top of the ones we've already issued, we also have projects in the system but not issued yet that we're either waiting on some planning matters to be settled or further information on their building permit applications. These total $35 million worth of construction value, which will bring our total to about $68 million so far this year, or sorry, $63 million. And you can see the comparison from what we did in the first 3 months of this year to the 3 months in 2021. We have, I think with what we see on the screen here, plus what we have in hand, we have a total of 40 new dwelling units going to be developed already this year. Plus, we have you see the large commercial project there as well. There's 4 industrial projects there for $19 million in value already. Of course, the biggest one there is the Hammond manufacturing plant. Next screen. And there's a comparison of the permits for the last 5 years. As you can see, we tied for our highest total ever was 2017 with 218 permits last year. And this is just a forecast of what you've seen in the last 6 years. As you can see, we're quickly catching up to 2021 already, and we're going to pass that probably by the end of April. We'll be past last year's total already. There's a picture. I mentioned the Hammond manufacturing plant. It is underway with the foundations probably about 60% complete at this time. There's a huge amount of foundation work with this plant. It's a very large building, almost 100,000 square feet. The general contractor has been great to work with. Blue Blamey from KW area. They're using a local foundation contractor from Bristol area, Galutin Construction. And they've been very good to work with so far. And another big project in the town of Minto is Minto Ag, located at corner of the 8th and Pike Lake Road. They're well underway with a 38,000 square foot addition to their agricultural machinery business. And if anyone has any questions, we'll try to answer them for you.
Okay. Thanks, Dave. Boy, that's exciting stuff. Questions, comments? They're all just like, what can you say? What can you say? I know you're busy because I see you running out there, but oh yeah, we got some people going. Councillor Elliott and then Deputy Mayor Turk.
I just want to say, Dave, out in the public and the people that I've talked to, nothing but good stuff said about your department or the department, and with Ashley and Wes and you and Terry. It's just fantastic what you do. You work really well with our construction people, and that's part of the reason, a big part of the reason we get people wanting to build in our community is because the cooperation and the expertise that you give them. And I want to thank you guys for doing what you're doing.
Thanks, Ron. Deputy Mayor Turton.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Bridge. That was well said, Councillor Elliott. I was going to say the same thing. I mean, I don't ever remember having 4 building department people on one of our council meetings. So I mean, it's great. It's great for you guys to be on. And Dave, that was a great presentation. It was awfully nice of you to volunteer that information about Ashley and Wes putting it together. You didn't have to say that. You could have taken all the credit yourself.
Well, I believe in giving credit where credit's due, and they did all the work on it. So
yeah, you guys do a great job of that, and thanks for that report.
And just in wrapping up, I liked at the beginning, Dave, and you talked about it, and the fact that it's a team effort, and not only a team effort from the building department, but you talked about the sewer and water guys and this council for providing the infrastructure that was needed to have this growth. And a lot of people sitting around this table have been around for 8 years or more, and they're pre-planning and the staff and getting things ready. And we've just gone through a new process for another 10 years, trying to figure out where we're going to be and how much water we have and all the other stuff. So it takes the big picture, and we're actually reaping a lot of benefits from previous councils. And you know, we wouldn't have had industrial parks and other things if previous councils hadn't done it. So it's really good. It's a team effort, and I really appreciate the whole team being here to present this today, because I'm sure at the mayor's breakfast, I know Belinda's going to have a lot of these stats in there for me, and we're going to be able to take it out to the public as well. So really appreciate having a preview of it. And yeah, you got a lot of work ahead, because that's just what you have in the mill. And I know it's not going to slow down. We're going to get more coming at us with interest rate changes and stuff like that. So a lot of neat projects that are coming. So even tonight, we passed a bunch tonight that we'll have an opportunity to get going on the ground. So thanks very much from all of us at the council level for all the hard work that everybody does in all the different departments to make it happen. And council, you can give yourself a pat in the back too, because you were part of this whole process. Anyways, any other questions? If not, did I do the thing on that one, Annalene, or did I not?
No, I just need you to make the motion to receive.
Okay, because I talked away there. I forgot to do that. Okay. We were kind of getting on a roll there, weren't we? Okay, the motion is, here we are. Moved by Deputy Mayor Turton, second by Councillor Gudson. The council receives the report regarding the 2021 year-end review and the 2022 year-to-date statistics as information. Anybody opposed? If not, that is carried. And I'll turn it over to Deputy Mayor Turton to take the next couple items.
Thank you, Mayor Bridge. I'd like to welcome our treasurer, Gord Duff, to our meeting today. I know that these 2 reports that we have from the treasurer certainly won't come anywhere close to the last report from Mr. Wilson. So we've got a couple of items. The first one being the minutes of settlements and adjustments, assessment adjustments, FIN 2022-007. So Gord, I'll ask you to present the report, please.
Great. Thank you, Chair Turton. And yeah, I'd just like to echo the previous discussion on the building department there. They're four very busy people and we work closely together. And I think it's really true, as the mayor said, a lot of their deadlines are quick, but this is a long-term process. And we have to think of where we've been and where we're going. So it's great. And often their work shows up in our assessment. And what we have here are just a couple of relatively small reports. So the first one for minutes of settlement, that's when there's an actual structural change on the property, or perhaps a change in the assessment classification. And we've got one of each of those. And just coincidentally, they're almost offsetting amounts. We don't often have additions, but here we're moving from a relatively non-taxable classification to a more regular taxable one. So net effect is $67. So nowhere near 64 million for now.
Any questions for our treasurer? So this motion is moved by Councillor Dirksen, seconded by Councillor Anderson, that the council receives the March 2022 report from the treasurer and the revenue coordinator regarding assessment adjustments, and that these adjustments be approved. Anyone opposed to this motion? That motion's carried. Thank you very much. The second item then is going down the same road here. That's FIN 2022-008, and it's the section 357 applications. Go ahead, Treasurer Duff.
Exactly, Chair Turton. And section 357s, as you recall, are things that our revenue coordinator can do once we have all the paperwork. And these are both relate to removal of two structures on a couple of properties. And again, the dollars involved are relatively small.
Questions for our treasurer? Hearing none, this recommendation was moved by Councillor Gunson, seconded by Councillor Anderson, that the council receives the March 22 report from the treasurer and the revenue coordinator regarding section 357 applications, and that these adjustments be approved. Anyone opposed, raise your hand, please. Nobody opposed, so that's carried. And thank you very much, Gord, for your reports, and I'll pass the chair back to our mayor.
Thanks, Dave. And now it's other businesses closed. Mark, did you want to?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to talk about doctor recruitment. Just, I don't want to drag it out much, but it's worth mentioning. I know it's quite a challenge for that recruitment team, and it has been. That we've been looking for one or two for over 6 years. My doctor, we received a notice yesterday that she's out in 2 months, she's gone. And Dr. Clarko will be gone in probably 2 years. So we're going to be looking for 4 doctors, and they're not having much luck. What's the horizon look like for these? It's not a good picture to paint, but there's going to be a lot of families looking for family doctors, and hopefully outpatients is going to be able to handle it. But at any rate, that's a lot of big job for that team, and they're not having much luck right now, but you got to feel for them. But at the same time, what's the future look like? Does anyone know?
Maybe Deputy Mayor Turton's on that committee, Councillor McKenzie, but to get into it tonight, we possibly, I don't know when the last time we had an update. Do you remember? Because when it was around the time when we approved the medical center addition, I believe, it wouldn't hurt to have an update again, and maybe I can get an update. What do you think, Dave? You're on that committee.
Certainly, I can talk to Shirley about an update, but I can reassure you, Councillor McKenzie, that the committee has a great plan going forward. They certainly have had candidates. They've had interest. And it's unfortunate that we lost one this week or in the next couple of months, but that this new addition on our current Lions Medical Center will certainly be an advantage to us. All we can do, I mean, this has been an issue. There is a pile of municipalities in Ontario that are underserviced. So, I mean, we've been doing this, the town of Minto, Mapleton have been doing extremely well over the last number of years to recruit doctors. And we've been very fortunate because we have doctors that love the area, that really work hard at recruiting. We have students working with our doctors quite a bit. And I mean, we just have to kind of keep the faith that that it's going to happen for us. Well, again, when we get this new building put up, it's certainly it'll hold, possibly a couple doctors or a doctor and a nurse practitioner. And I can tell you again that the committee is working extremely hard to recruit doctors.
So I think what we'll do is try to get it on the docket, Councilor McKenzie. And again, the good news is that building's going up and we'll be ready in the fall. So that's all part of that plan. But maybe we have her come back and do that whole thing again and see where they are. Because I know they had some people that were pretty close to maybe getting, we weren't sure, but part of it was a structure. So we got the structure coming now, that's for sure. So, but I think Councilor Anderson had earlier in her comments about health, and it is going to be an issue going forward. So maybe we'll get back and have her bring us an update and see where we're at, what else we can do as a council, if there's anything we can do.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for bringing that up. And just along almost similar lines, I just wanted, and I got it just came today from Dr. Mercer, and I didn't realize, or I probably would have made a little bit more of comments on this, but they are going with the inaugural Canadian Public Health Week, calling it April 4th to the 8th to celebrate the work of public health in Canada. And I just wanted to bring that up tonight, and not just talk about the public health people, but also about all our workers in the hospital situations. And I know Jean tells us all the time, and I always appreciate her comments on it because she's in the line. But we really need to really go out there and wherever we can thank our medical practitioners, also our hospitals, our ambulance, our people, and everything else. It's been a strain, and it's not over. And so whatever we can do to help ourselves, protect ourselves, to keep ourselves out of the hospital, by all means, try to do that, because I know Jean would appreciate that, not seeing you there. Right, Jean? Yeah. And so that would be my comment today. But public health, we're going to have a public health board meeting tomorrow, and actually they're going to do some interesting things about who the top vaccinator was and a few other things, just kind of bring out some of the neat things that went on in the clinics and what was happening with all the different people, right down to, I believe, one of the veterinarians did almost 700 shots. They finally at the end, they got veterinarians shooting people because I guess they can do animals, they can do people. So, and that was new, and they got that in there. So that's all I have. Has anybody else got anything else? Okay, I will then now go and motion by Deputy Mayor Turton, second by Councilor Elliott, the committee of the whole convenes a regular council. Anybody opposed? None. Okay, notice of motion. I don't see any. Moved by Councilor Gudson, second by Deputy Mayor Turton, the Council of Town of Minto ratifies the motions made in the committee of the whole. Anybody opposed? That is carried. Bylaws. Moved by Councilor McKenzie, second by Councilor Anderson. Bylaw number 2022-26 to authorize execution of agreement for management services between the Corporation of Town of Minto and the Corporation of Township of Center Wellington be read first, second, and third time and passed over to council and seal the corporation. Anybody opposed? That is carried. Moved by Councilor Elliott, second by Councilor Dirksen. Bylaw number 2022-27 to amend the zoning bylaw 0186 as amended by rezoning lots 1, 2, and 3 northeast side of Queen Street, Palmerston, Town of Minto, be read first, second, and third time and passed over to council, seal the corporation. Anybody opposed? No. Okay, I thought Judy was shaking her head there. Are you all right, Judy? Did I miss something there? Mess that up?
I think you said Queen Street, Palmerston. Did you not?
You know, I did, and it's not Palmerston, it's Harrison, isn't it not?
It's in Harrison. I'm
We
just
can make that
scrolling
administrative
down.
change.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I'm just
Yeah, when I
scrolling
did it, I
down to
thought,
find the actual thing here, but
yeah, I almost, you went like this and I went, yeah, there's something wrong with that. Okay, good catch. Okay. Moved by Councilor McKenzie, second by Councilor Gudson, that the bylaw number 2022-28 to amend the zoning bylaw 0186 is amended by rezoning 6133 Wellington Road, 109, Town of Minto be read first, second, and third time, passed open council, seal of the corporation. Anybody opposed? That's carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Turton, second by Councilor Anderson, the bylaw number 2022-29 bylaw to appoint interim chief administrative officers for the corporation Town of Minto will be read first, second, and third time and passed open council, seal of the corporation. Anybody opposed? That's carried. Moved by Councilor Elliott, second by Councilor Dirksen, the bylaw number 2022-30 be to appoint the deputy clerk of the for the corporation Town of Minto will be read first, second, and third time and passed open council, seal of the corporation. Anybody opposed? That's carried. We were busy today. Moved by Councilor Dirksen, second by Councilor Gudson, the bylaw number 2022-32 to authorize execution of the service financing agreement between the corporation Town of Minto and Mex Development Inc. Be read first, second, and third time and passed open council, seal of the corporation. Anybody opposed? That's carried. Moved by Councilor Gudson, second by Councilor Elliott, the bylaw number 2022-32 to authorize execution of site plan agreement with Mex Developments Inc. for the purpose of proposed development of 108 Queen Street North be read first, second, and third time and passed on council and sealed with seal of the corporation. Anybody opposed? That's carried. Moved by Councilor Elliott, second by Councilor Gudson, the bylaw number 2022-33 to confirm actions of the council of the corporation of Town of Minto respecting a meeting held April 5th, 2022 be read first, second, and third time and passed on council seal of the corporation. Anybody opposed? That's carried. Moved by Councilor Dirksen, second by Councilor Anderson. The council of Town of Minto adjourns to meet again at the call of the mayor. Derek, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If you would give me a minute.
Yep.
This is my last council meeting, so I just wanted to take the
Really?
opportunity.
No, it isn't.
It is to thank council for all their support and all their goodwill towards me and accepting me in this role. And I'm very proud of all the work that we've done together. And I wish you nothing but the best in your future endeavors, whatever that might be. But just wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
No, thanks, Derek. I'm sorry. You know what? I kind of thought that the 18th, the next meeting is the 19th, right? Oh, yeah. Wow. Councilor Dirksen.
I believe we have a meeting booked for the 14th of April. Do we not, in the evening? Is that true or not?
Through you, Mayor Bridge. That meeting was being looked at, but instead we went with March 22nd.
Yeah, we
Oh,
changed that one.
Okay, I will cross that off.
I had my speech ready for them too. Yeah, there you go.
I just wanted to say congratulations to Derek, and we will miss you. And I want to say congratulations to the 3 staff members who have new roles added to their portfolio this evening.
Yeah, thanks, Judy. Deputy Mayor Turton and Ron, go ahead.
Same here, Mayor Bridge. I'd like to thank all 3 of you guys, Derek, Mark, Chris, for all the hard work in the past. And you guys, Mark and Chris, got big shoes to fill. And I don't think Derek takes that too serious about 2 guys to fill his position. But on the other hand, I know that Mr. Thompson is coming back for the mayor's tournament. He's going to golf with us. So we will see a smiling face. He's going to be back in Minto, and I'm sure he'll be back at other times as well. But congratulations to all 3 of you, and thanks for your support.
I hear you got a new driver for his birthday. So there you go. So anyways, Councilor Elliott and then Councilor Anderson.
Derek, I'm just gonna congratulate you and say you're only a phone call away and a golf course away. You know what? I'm gonna still hit from the golds when you're hitting from the whites, and that gives me
the reds this year, Ron.
Yeah, George, you and I can still, yeah, all the whining he does back there, it doesn't matter, right? So anyhow, you did a great job for us, Derek, and I really, really appreciate, and your advice you give us on the changeover is well, and all your stuff that you've offered to us, and you're right on. And again, thank you very much.
Councilor Anderson, go ahead.
And I'll just be repeating the same words, but it truly has been a pleasure to get to know you. Unfortunately, most of it through Zoom.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate we didn't get to spend more time in person, but it's been, being on council is always a growing and learning experience. And I must say that I've learned some things from you, and I appreciate that tremendously, and best of luck in your new ventures. We will miss you though. You could always come back. I did mention that, right? I think earlier.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Those
Thanks.
are interim positions only.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Councilor Gudson.
I'll just say something too. Congratulations, Derek, and thanks for everything you've done, and always a phone call away, and look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I just to wrap it up, Derek, you know, we've had some good moments, and I think Jean mentioned it too. It's too bad because you were with us 2 years and a bit, but out of that, probably we were only able to get together for 5 or 6 months of it that we could physically be around. So I know that left a lot on the table that you've got some great interpersonal skills and ability to work with the group and have some fun at the same time. So we missed some of that. We could have maybe did a little bit more of that, but we weren't able to it. But you're not very far away, and this will be the last council meeting you have. But I'm sure we'll organize something that we'll all get together and when we can and toast you a little in some way to send you on your way. And you know what? I told them when they called me about you when you had the interview up in Bruce that they're getting a pretty good guy. So they better treat you right. If not, as Jean said, there's always openings. Right, Jean? We can park direct. We got Zamboni drivers. We got all kinds of things we could bring you to. And I know you've done it all. You were a Zamboni driver once, so I know you could do it. Anyways, thanks a lot. And as they say, we'll get a chance to have a little bit more of a hopefully personal opportunity to wish you luck and have a good time going forward. Thanks, everybody. Good council meeting. A lot done today. Like there's a lot there. We put a whole bunch more work onto the building department today. Now they got to get those permits out because we passed a few today. So thanks, everybody, and stay safe.
Hi, everybody.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.